2025 will be a pivotal year for the VB WRX, and it's not because of the new fancy features like red badging, digital gauge clusters, adaptive dampers, and color accented interiors. Rather because thanks to the pricing, the trim level changes, and other external factors, it is likely going to be Subaru's toughest WRX to sell. Firstly, let's talk about the base model getting removed from the lineup. I think the WRX's best selling point was that it undercut its competition in terms of price, especially if we are looking at the base model. In 2024, the last year of the base model, the Canadian MSRP was $33,695. Oh yeah, I should mention I'm going to go through the Canadian prices because I live in Canada, but the US market also had the base model removed in 2025, so it's still applicable. If we look at its closest all-wheel drive competitor, the 2024 GR Corolla Core, MSRP was $46,850. Yes, the GR Corolla is arguably a better overall performing car, but the value you get out of the base WRX is nearly 40% in savings, which you can put to some mods so you can embarrass GR Corollas like no tomorrow. The base model was one of the best value propositions for the WRX, as mechanically it's nearly identical to any of the other trims. It still has the same engine and same transmission. It may not have all the nice to haves of all the other trim levels, but that's nothing the aftermarket can't fix. It was an entry point for many people to get into the WRX platform because it is so budget friendly. It's also a clean slate for enthusiasts who would rather take a more bare bones trim as they'll do all their upgrades themselves. To me, getting rid of the base model is a negative thing. I was surprised that Subaru got rid of the base model before any of the higher trim levels like the TS. It makes more sense to get rid of the trim that the majority of the consumer base don't need or won't buy. Without the base model, people will have to go with the next trim up. In Canada, the lowest trim for the 2025 model year costs close to $38,000, a 12% jump from the 2024 base MSRP. Definitely does not offer the budget-friendly appeal of the base model and could drive overall sales numbers down. Now let's jump up the trim levels and let's talk about the TS. And this car, I'll be completely honest, it is not worth the price. The TS in Canada costs $47,795. And if you compare it to the car it replaced, the WRX TR, which in Canada is called the RS, the RS cost $41,895. So a 13% jump between models. Mechanically, the only significant improvement the TS has over the RS or TR are the adaptive dampers. Don't get me wrong, they are nice, but I think many of us Subaru enthusiasts would prefer to keep the cost down than add features that are not 100% necessary. I would be happy to pay more if there was more power added or the transmission was swapped out to the STI's TY85. But adaptive dampers, more screens, and more colors are things I'm not personally looking for in a WRX. I guess another way of putting it is if these were optionable items, I wouldn't option them and just keep the price down. When I bought my WRX TR or RS last year, I thought that price wasn't great. I felt it was on the high side for what I was getting, but compared to all my other options like the GR Corolla, it was still way cheaper. But now the 2025 GR Corolla Core compared to the TS makes a lot more sense to go with. The Canadian spec GR Corolla Core MSRP is $48,515. So less than $1,000 difference between the two cars. But the GR Corolla has more power, limited slip diffs, and does look more put together aesthetically. However, I should say this is assuming you can get a GR Corolla readily available and at MSRP. There are Subaru dealers local to me who have the TS in stock and selling them at MSRP. But the GR Corollas here are not as common and definitely harder to get at MSRP. Now let's talk price jumps. Comparatively to any other previous generation WRX, the VB WRX probably has the largest price increases from its debut in 2022 to its third model year in 2025. For example, let's look at the VA WRX prices. In 2015, the base model cost $29,995. In 2021, it cost $29,995. So no price jump for the base at all. Good on Subaru back then. But let's look at the higher trim, which is called the Sport Tech in Canada. In 2015, it cost $35,495. In 2021, it cost $37,495, which is a jump of 7.2%. So a significant increase, but this increase was over the whole generation of the VA WRX. So 6 model years between 2015 and 2021. Now fast forwarding to the VB WRX, the 2022 WRX Sport Tech debuted with a cost of $39,295. And in 2025, the same trim level is $42,995, a 9% jump. So a 9% jump over 3 model years compared to a 7.2% jump over 6 model years. And it still could go up for future model years, as the VB WRX probably still has 3 more years to go if it's following the same 6-year generation cycle as the VA. Additionally, as if the WRX couldn't get more expensive, I think the on and off tariff issue will impact the WRX price. There is this official correspondence from Subaru of America to all the dealers. It essentially states that vehicle pricing cannot be protected after April 2nd. By the time this video comes out, things may have completely changed, but this is another thing that doesn't help the WRX's case. The last thing I want to go over with you guys are the sales numbers of the WRX. This information is from goodcarbadcar.net, and it's for the US WRX sales, as it's easier to look at since the market is larger. Comparing 2025 sales and the 2024 sales, you may think the 2025 WRX is outselling the 2024 WRX in January and February. Yes, the WRX is being bought more in January and February 2025, but the vast majority of these are 2024s that Subaru dealers are trying to clear out. March 2025 is showing less sales than March 2024. And my prediction is that 2025 will be the year with the least amount of WRXs sold compared to the 2024 and 2023 model years. On that note, I want to know your thoughts. Do you think it was a mistake for Subaru to get rid of the base WRX? And what do you think about the 2025 pricing? In my opinion, you would get more value by getting an unsold 2024 model or a low mileage used example of the VB in any other model year. Anyways, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.